communities that were not able to afford a proper education, were not able to afford tuition fees, were not able to afford a proper meal. We're now seeing emphasis on those areas, which strengthens the fabric of the community, but also strengthens the possibilities for the future of those families and for the individuals concerned. And that to me is very exciting.
It is very exciting, and we're seeing a lot of progress in a lot of sectors across Grenada. You know, I remember hearing the Prime Minister's recent speech where he talked about the unemployment rate being reduced, and I think it now stands at 7.5%.
That was amazing when I heard that. Yeah. That has never happened in Grenada's history. I mean, no matter what anybody else says, that has never happened in Grenada's history.
Right.
7.5%.
You know, and I was doing some research before coming here, and I realized, because government came in 2022, and then in 2023, by the end of 2023, we saw unemployment at around 11.1. Now we're in 2025 and we're down to 7.5. This really speaks volumes as to the type of work government is putting in to ensure that everyone has a piece of the pie, you know, and a lot of it could be contributed to the things government are doing to empower people, like in the youth sector with businesses, entrepreneurs, and creating that kind of a landscape where persons can grow their business ideas and grow their businesses, employ other people, you know, so we're not just relying on handouts, you know, we are building ourselves, and that is what government is trying to do to ensure that everyone can prosper in whatever field that they choose to be in.
But you see, handouts are one thing. Handouts will help me for tomorrow, but it will not help me for my life. So how can I help you to get from point A to point B, and when I get to point B, still be confident that there's some more road to go. So somebody has to hold my hand through the process, and that's what I think is exciting about this particular period in Grenada's history. That there's a sense of, it's not just about me getting re-elected, it's a sense of all boats rising with the rising tide. And it does not matter. One of the things I've been hearing recently is about that issue of who you voted for, who you didn't vote for. I mean, all boats will rise the rising tide. That's right. And therefore, hopefully we've gone past the days of knowing who you voted for and what your allegiances are, etc.
Exactly.
And I'm really happy to see that the government in the last 3.5 years has de-emphasized that and has emphasized the development of all Grenadians across the board.
Precisely, you know, and we see, even though we're seeing these reduction in unemployment figures, we still have sectors that are crying out for persons. The construction sector, the health sector, you know, and we see government having to import workers. Like we have persons coming in from Nigeria, from Africa, you know, Ghana, for the health sector, right? And then we have some of the Cubans here that are helping us as well, you know, and from the construction sector, people have to come in to help offload the type of a workload that we have going on here. And that is why government is so keen on skills development, because a lot of these jobs, some of these key, like the high-paying ones, in the construction industry, for example, you know, we need to train our people so that they can benefit from these jobs. You know, so we see like everything just has a link. You know,
it has to be linked. Yes. And the other thing is that we have to recognize that even as these workers come in, that we have an opportunity to learn from them. To improve where we are. But you know, there's an economic issue as well in that situation. For many years now, I've lived long enough to hear the conversation that we don't have enough people in Grenada, or population has been almost constant for a number of years, and it impacts economic activity.
Yes, it does.
So, in fact, at the time, this was maybe 25 years ago, there was a clamor for at least between 25 and 30,000 extra persons to help improve the economic performance, business turnaround, circulation of money in the economy, etc. So having additional people come in is not a bad thing. We have to make sure that we put things in place, that we learn from them, and if they choose to stay there, they will continue to contribute to our economic development. We have left Grenada and the Caribbean and gone to places like the US and done exactly that. So there's no reason why we cannot benefit from that situation as well.
Exactly, and I hope some of our people in the diaspora that is looking on this morning, you know, can consider lending their services home. And government has always asked for that. You know, if you were a teacher, you were a health worker, you can come home and help train, help support some of the efforts that are happening here. You know, because what government is really trying to do is to build that new Grenada. You know, transform across sectors and so on, so that we have a viable future where we are not just thriving, but we are surviving, and we are transforming as we go along.
Well, I like to tie the word transformation to improvement. So as we transform the environment, we have to ensure that people benefit from that, and not just that they benefit, but they see themselves benefiting. Because it's one thing to be saying all these wonderful things are happening, but how am I benefiting from it?
That's right.
And that's the crucial issue, how we tie that. So I'm really pleased that we have continued to concentrate on bringing our students, for example, along to presentations like these.
Yes.
So that they themselves can begin to understand that what they learn in the classroom, this is how you put it into practice.
That's right.
And they have a part in that development process.
Exactly.
And that really is important for me.
And it's nice that you mentioned that, because as we sat here earlier, we saw 2 busloads come in, dropping off some primary school students.
Yeah.
And one of my colleagues said, oh, those children are going to fall asleep halfway. And I'm like, no. They are part of the process.
They're part of the process, yes.
And a lot of their ideas inform the budget as well. Because part of the budget process included consultations in communities, and with various target groups like businesses and, tourism groups and all these different things, because you really want the people to tell you what development looks like for them.
Yes.
And you really want their ideas. We have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
We have brilliant minds in Grenada, and government is tapping into all of that resources, because we know what we would like our future to look like, and government is just here to really guide us in that direction.
This week I had I'm going to tell you this for the first time. I don't think you've ever heard it before. I'm now a farmer full time.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
So I operate a farm, myself and one other friend, and this week we had 13 students from St. Paul's government come in to see what's going on, and we were talking to them about the movement away from fork and cutlass and hoe and to mechanization, to tillers, so there's several avenues for us to now refocus agriculture.
That's
that
right.
is not just on people cutting grass and so on.
Yeah.
That you can actually build a sector that is resilient, build a sector that adds input to the economy, and build a sector that can improve the lives of every individual. That we do not have to go back in the days of the struggle of agriculture, when there's other elements that we can use to do exactly that. So I think that is the important thing that we can pass on to students or young people, to recognize that the national budget should reflect your thinking in your home, for example, and in your school, etc. Sorry, I love Richard. He and I have a good relationship. I like Mr. Sam.
Of course.
But really, I think it's really a way to tie in the things that you learn in school, whether it's in business management or business studies or any of that, tie that into what you're hearing at the national level. So hopefully as you grow up, you can make your own contribution at your own level to things like a national budget.
Of course. And let's talk about energy for a bit, because it's one of the key pillars of Vision 75, and for good reason. I mean, we all feel it. We know what the costs of gasoline is, and our electricity costs are going up. So we are all feeling it, and government is trying to transform our energy sector to ensure that we have long-term solutions. It's not just a quick fix to give us a little ease for the next 6 months, but it's ensuring that we have a secure long-term solution for energy, to ensure that we can reduce the cost and so on, because we rely heavily on imported fuel, and that is what drives up the cost of energy. Government is looking into a number of areas like geothermal, for instance,
solar,
led by the Honorable Karine James. Her ministry is working tirelessly to look into these different forms of energy that we can benefit from. And geothermal is one of them. We have a lot of heat here.
But we've been, I was talking to a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago, and we have been discussing geothermal now for maybe 3 decades.
Yeah.
There's been talk and nothing has happened substantially. We've been discussing Grenada's oil potential now for I don't know how long, and yet there's finally. Right? Started in 2000, late 2000, decade between 2008 2010. we started looking at the potential of that. So I wonder to myself sometimes, when we do all this talking with no action, actually I don't wonder. I'm seeing how it's impacting us. Yeah. Because people lose confidence. They say, well, yeah, you say we had that, but where is it, kind of thing. And energy will create a problem for every sector when the cost is high.
That's right.
Or manufacturing, every sector, whether it's from baking to transportation. So it's really important that we look at all these, and other countries are doing it, right? Mm-hmm. I think a couple of years ago, Virgin Atlantic was helping, doing a Caribbean project, and I think one of the islands to the south of us, southeast of us, was actually declared fully free of fossil fuel. They were using wind and solar as their main areas of energy, and there's no reason for us to not do that.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
we have a lot
very
of
happy.
opportunities.
Yes.
Yeah, because you mentioned solar, and we're seeing a lot of businesses adopting these technologies. We're seeing a lot of homes adopting these technologies, and just recently the Ministry of Climate Resilience launched Solar for All, the Solar for All project, you know, which really gives homeowners access to funding and so that they may be able to enjoy these types of benefits that comes with solar energy, you know. And Prime Minister would have mentioned recently also that coming up in 2026 to 2027, they will continue to invest in solar energy, and particularly in the procurement. Well, they're in the procurement stage right now of setting up the solar energy plant at Morris Bishop International Airport.
Yes.
Yes. This is going to be.
And there's also a similar thing in Karakou.
And there's
for storage of.
That's right.
Yes.
At the Limley solar farm, and we know that it was badly affected by Hurricane Beryl. Yeah. But we also know that plans will continue to build back and to renovate, and so to ensure that that farm does become a reality. I know that it has been a vision of the Honorable Kareem James to make Karakou, because that's the idea.
The start. Yes,
that's the start.
Absolutely.
Completely solar energy functionable.
Yes.
You know, so I mean, there's a lot of things in store, which makes this budget so exciting, because you want to know, okay, what am I going to look forward to next year?
Yeah. And that's why I spoke to the implementation thing. It's a great thing to talk about the plans and the programs, but when we get to the implementation stage, I often wonder, for example, talking about developments and affecting people. There are certain parts of the year when our fishermen cannot go out because there's no bait.
Yeah.
Now, all the islands in all the countries in the east, whether it's China, Indonesia, Malaysia, they have fish farms.
Yes.
They farm bait. So why are we not doing? We're an island state. We have more water than we have land. So why are we not farming bait to make sure that our important fishing industry continues year round?
Yeah. Those are great opportunities.
You know what I mean? So those are the things that I think, and they are so practical and they affect so many people.
Yeah.
That I think it's. I mean, I look at fish and I have animals. I'm an animal farmer, so I do goat and sheep. If I have to do goat feed locally, why can't I get some protein from fish to put in my animal feed? Whether it's fish oil, whatever that process that takes place there. But this must improve our protein in the country, and it must also improve our ability to export from the marine sector, the blue economy. And I'm really happy that there's some emphasis on the blue economy, not just in this budget, but starting last year, to look at how we can exploit the benefits of the blue economy to ensure we have national development benefiting from that.
Sustainably.
Yes. Absolutely.
Of course. And we also see there was a lot of movement in the creative industry.
Big one.
With the setting up of the Office of Creative Affairs, we really got to witness the development of the craft of our creatives here. And that is a huge sector here. The creative economy is a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide, and we have such great talent locally. Mrs. Simon, about the talent we have here, because you are, sir, quite the singer yourself. So you know about this, and you know how probably scarce and rare opportunities may have been before. But now we're seeing a lot of training happening for creative. I mean, as we sit here, we have a team from Ghana, from one of the world's leading animation companies in Ghana, now in Grenada, training a lot of our creatives in animation design, and they're doing a lot of things about live broadcasts and storytelling and really shaping their craft. So we have a lot of our local, what do you call those? They call them influencers.
Yes.
I even saw one of our media colleagues, former media colleagues, her page is Pineapple Marketing. She's one of the persons sitting
follow
in
her
this.
quite a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot of our creative really benefiting from these programs and trainings and all these things the government is putting in place for our people, and that sector is really booming. I remember Prime Minister said, do you think that the music that came out for Carnival this year was by chance?
By chance, yes.
Absolutely. It is a lot of work. There's a lot of work being put in the background to ensure that even our artists are learning about their writing skills and music production, and so on. So there's so much happening. There's a lot happening in a lot of sectors across government, all leading back to the one point, putting people first.
Yes, and I think you mentioned the team from Ghana that's here. I think that's also an important part of the process. Now, Abigail, we don't need to reinvent the wheel.
No.
There are countries that have done this before. How do we tap into that resource to bring it home? Part of the issue is our mindset.
Yeah.
Our mindset was always what is outside is better than us. We are not good enough to be part of. What we're seeing now is a shift.
That's it.
A shift that says we are just as good as anybody in the world to do. We have Grenadians who cannot come back from companies they're working with in the US and other countries, for example, because they are very good at what they do, and they don't want the company does not want to lose them. So we are good enough. It's a mindset change that is happening, especially with the next generation, your generation, that is helping us to recognize that the things that we've been told over the years have not been true.
That's right.
It has kept us in a certain mindset that has stalled our development almost. And we are now in a place where there's a new look, right? Information is available at the click of a button. That's right. At the touch of a tablet.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's really important that we take charge of that. And what you're going to find, and I suspect it's happening now, there'll be a generational issue where some people might think they're being left behind. But and again, I go back to the point that it is really a time for us, the older people, because I'm now the older generation, wow, to take advantage of the retooling, the retraining, to take the new opportunities that are available to our benefit. And that's where I think the mindset change needs to happen.
Of course. We would have noticed the arrival of Prime Minister, the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, just a few moments ago, and he went into the chamber to take his seat. Looking at the time now, it's about 10:02 thereabouts, so we know that Parliament will start in just a few, because it's supposed to have a sharp 10 a.m. start.
Yes.
But we are awaiting the arrival of the Governor General, Her Excellency Dame Cecile Labrenard. We're positioned outside the Parliament, actually. Beautiful space.
Yeah.
Just enjoying the atmosphere. I'm seeing the Honorable Peter David just walking into the chamber as well. He's being escorted by the protocol team. There's a bit of a silence in the atmosphere this morning. I don't know if it's a wait for the announcements or if it's reflective, but it feels peaceful here at Parliament today.
Well, I mean, Parliament is really in a beautiful setting as well. Yes. I'm sure the camera is picking up some of the scenery behind us. Everything, and we've been getting quite a bit of rain recently, so everything is green, lush, and it is really a good reflection of where we are at this time in our development.
That's right, growth.
Yeah, growth, correct, yes.
Newness.
Yes.
Of course.
Refreshing kind of thing.
It is refreshing. Yes. I just want to remind viewers, because I know there are some things that we look forward to hearing in the budget speech. So last year, the budget total was $1,912,872,014. So we're hearing the bell ringing. That means we're about to start very soon. Just want to let you know, though, remember that the budget was held earlier this year in March,
yes.
And people probably wondering, well, why? But it was because of Hurricane Beryl.
Yes.
You know, the passage of Hurricane Beryl, which delayed the presentation of budget last year, so it was read in March. Now we're back to regular programming, so the budget is usually read the first week in December, which is what we're doing here today. So we're seeing the Speaker of the House entering the chamber, which means that we are about to start, and we will go to the chamber.
Let's pray. I do beseech thee, Almighty God, members of this honorable house, that they may wisely deliberate for the good of this country and for thy holy name. Join me in saying the Lord's Prayer, please. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Pray be seated. This honorable house is now in session.
Item number 3, oath of allegiance or affirmation of a new member. Item number 4, confirmation of minutes.
The leader of government business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the minutes of the proceedings of a sitting of the House of Representatives held at Parliament Chamber, Mount Welldale, St. George's, on Wednesday, the 19th of November, 2025, at 9 a.m., be taken as read.
Honorable members, the question is that the minutes of the proceedings of a sitting of the House of Representatives held at the Parliament Chamber, Mount Welldale, St. George's, on Wednesday, the 19th November, 2025, at 9 a.m., be taken as read. Those who are in agreement, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Indeed, the ayes have it. Leader of government business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that the minutes of the proceeding of a sitting of the House of Representatives held at Parliament Chamber, Mount Welldale, St. George's, on Wednesday, the 19th of November, 2025, at 9 a.m., be confirmed.
Honorable members, the question is that the minutes of the proceedings of a sitting of the House of Representatives held at the Parliament Chamber, Mount Weldale, St. George's, on Wednesday, 19th November 2025 at 9 a.m. be confirmed. Those in agreement, say aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it indeed, the ayes have it. The minutes are confirmed.
Item number 5, messages from the Governor General. Item number 6, announcements by Mr. President. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, well, that's not so much for the members in the chamber. It's mainly for those in the gallery that I wish to remind everyone that mobile phones should be either placed on vibrate or turned off. We've had experience of shrills while the members are on the floor and speaking, and we advise that those phones be either put to vibrate or turned off. Today we celebrate World AIDS Day, and it's a reminder to all of us that the damage of AIDS is still prevalent in our society, and so we need to join hands to fight that scourge that has been with mankind for several years. And finally, I have been advised that one Ms. Inez Robinson, a former Assistant Clerk of Parliament, has passed away. And so this Honorable House extends its sympathies to the family of the deceased Ms. Inez Robinson, who I'm told actually worked in the Parliament for some time. Those are my announcements.
Item number 7, presentation of petitions. Item number 8, presentation of papers and reports from select committees.
Leader of Government Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to present the following papers and reports from select committees. Estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 2026, medium-term economic and fiscal strategy report 2026 to 2028, medium-term debt management strategy 2026 to 2028, annual debt report 2024, report on the constituency fund as of, report on the contingency fund as of the 31st of October 2025, pursuant to SRO 42 of the 2015 National Transformation Fund regulation as amended. State-owned enterprise and statutory bodies Statement of Performance Report 2024, and finally, minutes of the Standing Committee on Finance held on Friday the 14th of November 2025. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Leader of Government Business. Those papers, reports, and documents are now laid in Parliament.
Item number 9, unopposed private business. Item number 10, questions.
Leader of His Majesty Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, there are quite a number of questions before us, and I'm quite prepared to defer to the next sitting, if you would so allow.
Okay. Granted. So,
Item number 11, urgent questions on the provisions of Standing Order number 21, notice of questions.
oh, sorry, I wasn't seeing.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in keeping with the statement just made by the Leader of the Opposition, I would like to add my sentiments to that and to ask that the answers to the questions that I posed be given in writing, if that is possible, so that we can avoid the time delays in this honorable House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, I heard you, and I have granted you that privilege. The response to those questions will be sent to you in writing. Thank you.
Item number 12, statements by ministers.
Proceed. Proceed.
Item number 13, personal explanations. Item number 14, motions.
The Minister for Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and a pleasant good morning to all members of this honorable House on both sides. I also want to take this opportunity before I move the motion to congratulate Mr. Adrian Joseph, our acting Speaker of the House today. He's his first acting clerk of the House today, because the clerk is currently on vacation, and so he is presiding for the clerk that's on vacation. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the following motion standing in my name. Whereas it is necessary to provide for the services of the State of Grenada for the year 2026 by means of an appropriation act, be it resolved that the estimate of revenue and expenditure for the fiscal year 1st January 2026 to 31st December 2026 be approved. Mr. Speaker, as this is a money motion, I wish to signal to this honorable House that I have the consent of the Governor General to proceed. Mr. Speaker, in compliance with the Public Finance Management Act and regulations, the Fiscal Resilience Act, and the Public Debt Management Act, I wish to advise the following accompanying documents are laid before this honorable House. 1, the medium-term economic and fiscal strategy report 2026 to 2028, in accordance with Section 12A of the Public Finance Management Act number 17 of 2015 as amended. 2, the medium-term debt management strategy 2026 to 2028, in accordance with Section 5.1 to 5.3 of the Public Debt Management Act number 28 of 2015 as amended, and the 2024 annual debt report. The following additional reports are later. Report on the contingency fund of 31st October 2025 pursuant to SRNO 42 of 2015, National Transformation Fund regulation as amended, and state-owned enterprise and statutory body statement of performance report 2024. Thank you.
Honorable members, the question is, whereas it is necessary to provide for the services of the State of Grenada for the year 2026 by means of an appropriation act, be it resolved that the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the fiscal year 1st January 2026 to 31st December 2026 be approved. I now invite the Minister for Finance to present the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the fiscal year 2026 to the House.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. It is my distinct honor to present this honorable House and to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique the 2026 budget address under the theme Towards Vision 75, Powering Progress Through People's Participation and Innovation. This theme captures the essence of our transformative journey over the past 3.5 years, a journey marked by purpose, determination, and resolve. It reflects our shared aspiration to build a Grenada that is not only economically stronger, but socially just, environmentally resilient, and guided by the enduring principles of inclusion, participation, and innovation. Mr. Speaker, this fourth budget of our tenure sets the stage for the next phase of national transformation. It's more than a financial plan. It's a statement of faith, faith in creativity and capacity of our people, faith in our collective potential, and faith in the divine guidance that continues to steer our nation through the challenge and change. It reminds us that the real progress is never imposed from the top down. It is powered by the active participation, innovation, and perseverance of our people, the drivers of national transformation. As we embark on this chapter, we are guided by the timeless words of the Apostle Paul in Galatians 6:9, and I quote, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we'll reap a harvest if we do not give up." These words reminds us that nation building is neither easy nor instant. True progress requires patience, perseverance, and purpose, but it promises that our collective effort will bear fruit for generations to come. Therefore, as we reflect on our achievements and chart our path forward, we do so with faith and confidence, knowing that Grenada's progress is powered by only a sound policy and the passion of our people, but also by grace and mercies of our Almighty God. Mr. Speaker, as we move from vision to action, it is important to understand the environment in which this budget is presented. The 2026 budget is framed by a specific macroeconomic and social context shaped by global uncertainties, regional dynamics, and the lived experience of Grenadians. By grounding our plans in these realities, we ensure that our strategies are not only ambitious, but also practical, resilient, and responsive to the needs of our Grenadians. Mr. Speaker, from the onset of this administration, we're committed to creating a strong environment for economic prosperity based on industrial peace, fiscal sustainability, and financial stability. Mr. Speaker, all these are fully in place. With this perspective, I now turn to the macroeconomic and social context that shapes our budget for the year ahead. Macroeconomic and social context. Mr. Speaker, Grenada's economic performance in 2025 was nothing short of remarkable. Building on the solid foundation laid in 2024, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, estimates that real GDP growth will accelerate to 4.4% in 2025 and a moderate 3.2% in 2026, positioning us among the fastest growing economies in the Caribbean. Mr. Speaker, we are more optimistic about our macroeconomic development and prospects. We estimate that the real GDP will reach 6.2% in 2025, driven by robust construction activity, underpinned by both public and private sector investments, sustained strength in the manufacturing and wholesale, retail, and transport and storage sectors, and a rebound in the agriculture and fisheries sector. In 2026, growth is projected to moderate slightly to 4.1%, signaling a winding down of Hurricane Beryl reconstruction activities and a return to the core strategic focus of government's transformative agenda and the expansion and diversification of our productive base. Mr. Speaker, inflationary pressures continue to ease in 2025, following the high global volatility of recent years. The government continued efforts to contain the costs of living through target subsidies on electricity and petroleum products and the removal of VAT on basic food and essential items helped to cushion vulnerable households. As a result, headlines overall inflation period average declined to an estimated 0.7% in 2025, with food inflation, though higher than headline inflation, trends downwards. Over the medium term period, average inflation is expected to remain low and stable at around 1% during the period 2026 to 2028, preserving purchasing power and support real income growth. Mr. Speaker, from an unemployment of 16.6% at the end of the second quarter of 2021, Grenada has witnessed a transformative improvement in labor market conditions. By the end of October 2025, the unemployment rate had fallen to 7.5%, the lowest level in our modern economic history. Youth employment experienced an equally transformative improvement, dropping from 42% to 20.2%, a fall of 21.8% points, or more than half over the same period. Continued economic expansion in 2026, combined with intense skills training, are expected to bring further improvement in unemployment opportunities, particularly for our youth and women. Mr. Speaker, the fiscal position in 2025 is estimated to be much stronger than expected, reflecting greater revenue collections and contained recurrent spending despite higher capital outlays related to Hurricane Beryl recovery. A primary deficit of $126.4 million, equivalent to 3.1% of GDP, was realized, significantly better than the budgeted primary deficit of $208.6 million, or 5.2% of GDP. Likewise, the overall deficit was budgeted at $337.4 million, or 8.3% of GDP, is projected at $279.1 million, 53.8 million more favorable than originally envisaged, and roughly 6.9% of GDP. Mr. Speaker, this confirms the fiscal management prowess of this administration and strength of the Grenadian economy. Looking ahead, in 2026, the fiscal position is projected to improve relative to the 2025 budget and largely unchanged relatively to the estimated outturn, signaling, as planned, a gradual return to the fiscal rules and targets under the Fiscal Resilience Act in 2027. Mr. Speaker, the financial sector remains sound and well capitalized. Non-performing loans have continued to decline, liquidity levels are healthy, and the sector's profitability, though reduced, is still strong. External stability also remains well anchored, with gross international reserve estimated to 3 months of import over cover at the end of 2025. Looking ahead, financial and external conditions are expected to remain stable, providing a firm foundation for continued growth. Mr. Speaker, more details of the macroeconomic and social context of the budget are set out in the Medium-Term Economic and Fiscal Strategy Report 2026 to 2028, which is laid before this Honorable House, together with the Appropriation Bill 2026. Mr. Speaker, I now turn to the estimate of revenue and expenditure for the fiscal year 2026. Estimate of revenue and expenditure for 2026. Mr. Speaker, consistent with our administration philosophy of inclusive governance and participatory development, the preparation of the 2026 budget once again involved extensive engagement with our citizens, both at home and across the diaspora. Through these consultations, Grenadians from all walks of life contributed to their perspectives and ideas, helping to shape a budget that truly reflects our collective aspirations and priorities. All of which, Mr. Speaker, are set in the context of Grenada's National Sustainable Development Plan and Vision 75. I wish to express my profound gratitude to all who participated in this process, our citizens, partners, and friends whose contribution have enriched the policies, programs, and projects contained in this budget. Your continued involvement underscores our shared commitment to building a resilient, equitable, and prosperous Grenada. Mr. Speaker, this fourth budget of our administration deepens our national transformation agenda. It consolidates the gain achieved over the past 3.5 years, accelerates the implementation of our strategic priorities, and strengthens the foundation for sustainable growth and social achievements. The 2026 budget provides a total expenditure, including principal repayments, of $1,960,013,910. The overall budget summary is as follows. Recurrent revenue, $1.3 billion. Grants, $37.6 million. Recurrent expenditure, $1.1 billion. Strategic initiatives, $206.7 million. Capital expenditure, $370.4 million. Current account surplus, $229.8 million. Principal repayment, including amortization, $313.2 million. Primary deficit after grants, $229.2 million. Overall deficit after grants, $309.8 million. Mr. Speaker, while the rules and targets under the Fiscal Resilience Act, FRA, are further suspended in 2026 to allow continued support for post-burial reconstruction and resilience building initiatives, our government remains steadfast in its commitment to sound fiscal management and transparency. We will return to full compliance with the Fiscal Resilience Act once conditions permit, ensuring that this transition does not compromise macroeconomic stability and growth of social progress. Importantly, Mr. Speaker, the government will continue to adhere to the Fiscal Resilience Act wage bill ceiling of 13% of GDP in 2026. Our ongoing good faith negotiation with the public sector's union will be guided by fiscal responsibility, fairness, and the overarching goal of maintaining a sustainable wage bill framework in the years ahead. Mr. Speaker, to support growth in real wages for our hardworking and dedicated public servants, and in the interest of sustainable wage bill management, I take this opportunity to encourage all parties to the negotiations to work assiduously to complete this process in the shortest possible time. Financing of the 2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to report that the 2026 budget is fully financed. The projected overall deficit of $309.8 million will be financed primarily through drawdown of EC $257.3 million of government deposits and complemented by limited domestic and external financings. This financing strategy reflects the government's continued commitment to prudent management and sustainability. Mr. Speaker, it's also worth noting that due to the stronger than expected fiscal performance in 2025, with the primary and the overall deficit performance much better than initially projected, the financing needs were significantly lower than anticipated. As a result, the drawdown on deposit in 2025 was $29.1 million less than projected, allowing for a larger buffer of resources to support the financing of the 2026 budget. Transformation in motion. Mr. Speaker, when our administration assumed office 3.5 years ago, we made a solemn promise to the people of Grenada, Carrick, and Petit Martinique that ours will be a government of real transformation, not cosmetic adjustment, not superficial reform, but deep people-centered, measurable change. We promise an NDC administration that will work better, serve smarter, and deliver a more prosperous Grenada, Carrick, and Petit Martinique for all. We pledge to make opportunities more accessible, to modernize our system, to empower our people, and to restore trust in public leadership. From day one, our mandate was clear: move Grenada forward. But, Mr. Speaker, every bold agenda encounters resistance. There were those who dismiss our commitment as pie in the sky, those who question whether a youth team could deliver anything substantial, much less national transformation, and others who mocked our early success as mere flukes. As our agenda began taking shape, some asked, where is the transformation? Mr. Speaker, all of this was a calculated attempt to mislead our fellow citizens and to distract us from our work. It is worth noting, but smoke and mirrors, red herrings designed to slow doubt, and confusion among our desire to deliver steady, people-centered transformation progress. Today, Mr. Speaker, 3.5 years later, the answer is unmistakable. The evidence of transformation is not theoretical, it is visible. It is tangible and is impacting lives every single day. We have confronted long-standing systemic weakness across every major sector: health, care, education, youth development, social protection, infrastructure, digital modernization, and we have done so with unwavering conviction and a clear sense of purpose. We have replaced doubt with action, hesitation with boldness, timidity with courage, and short-sightedness with vision. Mr. Speaker, we stand today not as a government asking to be judged on intentions, but on the achievements that from the foundation of our shared national vision, a resilient and prosperous Grenada with a conscious and caring citizenry, grounded in human dignity and realizing the full potential to sustainable economic, social, and environmental progress for all. As we prepare to lay out our 2026 agenda, it is important to recognize that transformation already is in motion. In healthcare, a once broken system being reimagined and rebuilt with the ambition of becoming the healthcare capital of the Eastern Caribbean. In education, modernization, expanded access, and greater equity are reshaping the future of our young people. In youth empowerment, new investment opportunities and pathways are established, changing the building blocks of a vibrant youth economy. In housing, infrastructure, public sector modernization, and digital transformation, outdated systems have been replaced by platforms built for efficiency, transparency, and fairness. These are not isolated policies, Mr. Speaker. They are strategic, interconnected interventions carefully designed, deliberately sequenced, and effectively implemented to shape this nation from outdated structures to modern governance and sustainable development. So, Mr. Speaker, when the enemies of progress ask whether true transformation is happening, when they question the scope, pace, or direction of change, when they insist that more must be done or that progress is not visible, we say respectfully but confidentially, Mr. Speaker, if what we are delivering is not transformation, then what is? Things are happening. Permit me to therefore to outline our hard-won achievements over the past 3.5 years and to present the government's strategic interventions and priorities for the 2026, beginning with one of the most consequential pillars of our transformation, health and wellness. Mr. Speaker, this administration has remained unwavering in its mission to transform the broken healthcare system it inherited into healthcare capital of the Eastern Caribbean. When we assumed office, we inherited sector plagued by deep structural weakness, aging infrastructure, chronic staffing shortages, and fragmented service delivery. Yet, Mr. Speaker, we did not waver. We rolled up our sleeves, confronted the challenges head-on, and began the hard, necessary work to building a system worthy of our people. Today, as we present the 2026 budget, Grenada healthcare system is on path of renewal, stronger, better organized, and grounded in the principle of universal access to health and quality care. Institutional and organizational strengthening. Mr. Speaker, over the past year, within the technical partnership of Mount Sinai Health System, one of the world's leading teaching hospitals, a comprehensive need assessment and quality improvement review of Grenada's General Hospital has been completed. The landmark study has guided our reform agenda, identifying gaps in infrastructure, human resources, service delivery, and equipment. Armed with this data, we are now positioned to implement a modern, efficient health management framework anchored by the statutorization of our hospitals, which will be advanced in 2026. Looking ahead in 2026 and beyond, Mr. Speaker, Our continued partnership with Mount Sinai will strengthen accountability, improve service delivery, and create a more responsive healthcare system. Moreover, in institutional and organizational strengthening, we are big on digitalizing patients' record, introducing new systems, and improve existing ones to drive efficiency and expand access to healthcare services. Empowering our health workforce. Mr. Speaker, our health system is only as strong as the men and women who serve within. Over the past several years, we have taken decisive steps to empower our health professionals. We have conducted a human resource audit, expanded training opportunities for nurses, doctors, and allied professionals, and increased the intake of specialist personnel across key disciplines, including through the new strategic alliance with countries such as Nigeria and Ghana. Most recently, we have onboarded 30 new nursing interns who graduated from the St. George's University with starting salaries of $3,000, who will be trained to take up critical positions within the sector. Importantly, we have acted decisively to retain our skilled workers. Hundreds of health professionals whose employment status and pension benefits were uncertain at best are being regularized. The Cabinet decision to extend the annual honorarium of $12,000 for doctors and $6,000 for nurses has helped stem attrition and boost morale. In 2026, we'll go further, including revisiting the re-establishment of the Grenada Nursing School, introducing a succession planning framework, and expanding for professionals' certification programs. Our message to every health care worker is simple. We see you, we value you, and will continue to invest in you. Health facilities. To strengthen primary health care and to deliver responsive quality care for every citizen, we have rehabilitated refurbishing our hospitals, clinics, community centers across the country, including the Princess Alice and Princess Royal Hospital, the Good Hope Medical Center, the Hillsborough Health Center, the Surtees Medical Station, West Hall, Victoria, Leicester, Wynwood, and Mount Pleasant after Hurricane Beryl. We have purchased critical life-saving medical equipment for the health system, as well as undertake major repairs at the General Hospital, including the installation of a modern state-of-the-art kitchen and appliances. In 2026, we will continue a major upgrade of health facilities, including Monkridge, Petty Martinique medical stations, which are currently ongoing. Surtees Health Center, St. David's Health Center, Mount Carmel Health Center, Granville Health Center, Parkleet, Hermitage, River Sally, New Hampshire, Grand Roy, Vincent's, Grove, Woburn, Petmotor, and Laborie, Grandance Medical Stations, and St. George's Health Center are as well, as we continue to secure the necessary equipment to support primary health care. Project Polaris, building the future of healthcare. Mr. Speaker, among the boldest and most transformative initiative is Project Polaris, the construction of a new state-of-the-art climate-smart teaching hospital. Project Polaris will mark a turning point in our nation's history, offering world-class care, expanded specialist service, and advanced diagnosis capabilities that meet international standards. So far, we have secured 83 acres of land at Hopevale, the site of the new hospital and medical city, completed the detailed design study for the new hospital while working to finalize the procurement of the supervision consultant and the construction contractor and the financing framework for construction of the project, including a combination of concessional loans, equity injections, and philanthropic contributions. Regarding the latter, I am pleased to report that Cabinet Ministers have already begun voluntarily donating 1 month basic salary into a designated account established by one of our local banks for the purpose, and will do so until the hospital is commissioned. Importantly, Mr. Speaker, Cabinet has established the Polaris Development Company Limited as a special purpose vehicle incorporated under the company's Act of Grenada to ensure the smooth and effective implementation of this project. The wholly owned government company will be managed by a small, capable team of professionals who will report to the Board of Directors and to the Cabinet through Cabinet-appointed subcommittee. Mr. Speaker, barring any unforeseen events, the world will witness the official groundbreaking for our Polaris project in 2026, a defining milestone in Grenada's healthcare transformation journey, expanding access and affordability through national health insurance. Mr. Speaker, the implementation of a national health insurance system is critical to ensure that every citizen, regardless of their income status, can have access to healthcare services, including those that will be offered through Project Polaris. In other words, Mr. Speaker, all our citizens will be able to access improved services that will be offered through Project Polaris through the National Health Insurance System, ensuring that no one is left behind. To this end, over the last year, critical groundbreaking work was completed, including re-engagement of the University of the West Indies to provide consultancy service and the finalization of the NHI benefits package coverage model. In 2026, we will move decisively to advance this reform, including financial model, the legislative framework, and the stakeholder consultations, strengthening mental health and wellness. Mr. Speaker, our vision for health is holistic, addressing not only the body, but also the mind and spirit. For this reason, we created the Ministry of Mental Health and Wellness and Religious Affairs, the first of its kind in the region to give focus attention to mental well-being and spiritual health. In 2025, we initiated major reforms to expand community-based mental health services, integrate mental health into primary care, and begin construction of the Maribor Rehabilitation Center, a modern patient-centered facility designed to restore dignity and hope. In 2026, we will accelerate these initiatives, including the rollout of mental health training for primary care providers and enhanced support for psychosocial wellness in schools and workplaces. A combined allocation of $155.7 million is provided for the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs. Mr. Speaker, things are happening in the mental health and wellness sector. Education and skills development. Mr. Speaker, nowhere in our commitment to transformation more visible than in education. We have made education truly accessible. Free tuition now opens the doors of TAMCC and ULO to even more young Grenadians. Mr. Speaker, in just 3 short years, we have provided 709 scholarships to our young people and educators in the field of medicine, arts and science at universities and colleges in the United States, Cuba, Morocco, China, and many other countries, costing some $226.7 million. The first generation scholarship program in collaboration with Monroe University, which we secured in the past 12 months, is breaking cycles of inequity by allowing our citizens from low-income families to be the first in their homes to pursue higher learning. And now, Mr. Speaker, with our emphasis on building our healthcare professionals, we have agreed with our partner, St. George's University, to provide 30 medical scholarships. That's right, Mr. Speaker, 30 medical scholarships for our medical students from January 2026. A quarter 4-year medical degree program. Mr. Speaker, things are happening. The free hot meal program is ensuring that no child learns on an empty stomach. Mr. Speaker, we have launched the e-books program and distributed some 3,875 military-grade laptops to all Form 1s and 2 students as we prepare our youth to thrive in the digital age. We launched a pilot school bus project to inform a large-scale school bus program. We have begun to train our citizens in skills required for the present and for the future of work, focusing on key areas such as mariculture, tourism and hospitality, construction, and digital skills, including cybersecurity training. We have invested heavily in schools infrastructure, rehabilitated and upgraded our schools damaged by Hurricane Beryl, ensuring that we're able to reopen all schools in September of 2024, a mere 3 months after the devastating impact. Moreover, we have started construction on several new schools, such as the St. David's Catholic School, the St. Andrew's Anglican Primary School, the Grenada Christian Academy, the Florida Government School, and a new wing at the Calais Government School. Finally, we have raised the school learning age to 18 years, giving our young people more time and more opportunity to learn, grow, and succeed in this ever-changing global environment. Mr. Speaker, in 2026, we'll build on the solid foundation, including by advancing the development of centers of excellence in technical and vocational training. An amount of EC 179.6 million has been allocated to the Ministry of Education. Mr. Speaker, things are happening in education. The youth economy. Mr. Speaker, over the last 3.5 years, we have built institutions, expanded opportunity, and invested heavily in our young people. But to truly transform Grenada, we must elevate our youth agenda from programs to philosophy, one that treats young people not as recipients, but as architects of their own future. Today, this government takes a bold step forward with the establishment of the Youth Empowerment Agency here. A purpose-built institution that will channel the energy and talent of our young people or youth into entrepreneurship, leadership development, and civic participation. Here will unify and modernize existing programs such as Empower, Elevate Her, Youth Bees, transforming them into structured pipelines that support young Grenadians to earn, to lead, and to participate fully in national life. Aligned with our National Sustainable Development Plan and backed by a 2026 budget allocation of $15 million, here will move from consultation to implementation with legislation and system and programs ready for launch by June. Mr. Speaker, this is not bureaucracy, it is transformation. It is our covenant with the young people of Grenada to match their ambition with opportunities and their potential with pathways to success. When our youth rise, Grenada rise, and rise we shall. Mr. Speaker, things are happening for our youths. Housing. Mr. Speaker, we are delivering on our promise of dignity and better housing conditions to addressing the huge housing deficit that we inherited. We will complete the pilot phase of Project 500 by the end of this year, our flagship housing project, delivering 17 model homes at our Dunfermline site, setting the stage for a second phase of this critical project. Mr. Speaker, under the Build Back Better housing program launched in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl, hundreds of new homes were constructed, giving families safe, climate-resilient place to call home. Through the water access and sanitation in homes, the WASH program, hundreds of modern indoor toilets and baths have been delivered to low-income families, aggressively reversing the legacy of over 8,000 pit latrines and open bathroom left by the former administration. Under the Grenada Home Improvement Program, we have provided materials and labor support to thousands of Grenada's families to improve their living conditions. Mr. Speaker, we have upgraded the Chinese donated house and retrofitted them with modern amenities, including cupboards, closets, and other essential fixtures, significantly improving the comfort, functionality, and overall living standards for families who did not have a place to call home. In addition, we have begun to introduce modern community management structure, including homeowners association and other governance and maintenance framework designed to provide proper upkeep, accountability, and long-term sustainability of those condominium-style facilities. Mr. Speaker, of the 647 units constructed under Phase 2 of the project, 244 have been allocated low-income families at deeply subsidized prices, helping many achieve the dream of owning a home. We have resolved the decade-old sewer problem at the Lacolome housing scheme, putting an end to long-standing health and environmental hazard where raw sewage once flowed into the streets. Mr. Speaker, in 2026, housing will remain central to our transformative agenda as we advance the second phase of Project 500. To this end, government, through the Housing Authority of Grenada, will engage strategic partners in the private sector to deliver on high-quality, affordable Grenadian-style housing units. To support this goal, a Government of Grenada Housing Fund of $50 million made up of allocations from the National Lotteries Authority, the Grenada Development Bank, and supplemented by funds raised through the sale of the existing housing unit, will be set up to help unlock matching private sector capital, including from the banks, insurance companies, the credit unions, to transform the housing sector of Grenada. Mr. Speaker, government will continue to advance its various other initiatives in the housing sector, including the Grenada Home Improvement, the WASH program, and the Build Back Better housing program with budget allocation of $13 million, as well as the allocation of the remaining Chinese donated housing unit, particularly in St. Mark's, St. Patrick, and Carriacou. Mr. Speaker, things are happening in the housing sector. Renewable energy transition. Mr. Speaker, recognizing the critical imperative for energy security, this government has taken this decisive action to advance Grenada's renewable energy transition, guided by the principle of affordability, reliability, and accessibility. To this end, Mr. Speaker, last month we launched the Solar for All program, a flagship initiative delivering energy relief to vulnerable households and small businesses across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martin. This program ensures that the benefits of our energy transition are shared equitably and directly impact on the lives of citizens. This program will be rolled out in 2026 with an allocation of $1 million. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to report progress towards the rehabilitation of the Limne solar PV hybrid battery storage project in Carriacou, which was severely damaged during the passage of Hurricane Beryl. This facility, constructed with a grant from the government of the United Arab Emirates at an estimated cost of $3.2 million US, was designed to supply up to 20% of Carriacou electricity capacity, saving an estimated $0.5 million in foreign exchange per annum. Mr. Speaker, the UAE and the contractor have committed rebuilding the solar PV system with enhanced resistance standards capable of withstanding category 4 and 5 storm, strengthening our energy security. Under the geothermal development project, Mr. Speaker, Grenada continues to advance steadily towards a diversified energy mix. With additional support from the UK government through a grant of £10 million, we have refined already the project to include directional drilling, maximizing the potential of the 26 exploration phase. Engineering designs and surveys are complete, environmental approval secured, and the community engagement conduct to foster understanding and support. Geothermal energy remains central to achieving our goal of 100% renewable energy generation capacity in the electricity sector and stabilizing the price of energy. We have mobilized over US $140 million in grants and concessional financing to support 2 major renewable initiatives set to commence in 2026. More specifically, Mr. Speaker, a US $40 million concessional loan from the World Bank and the Clean Technology Fund to support renewable energy installation in government buildings and a 10.6 megawatt battery energy storage at the Maurice Bishop International Airport to ensure a reliable supply of electricity. And 2, support the private sector to access up to US $100 million in concessional loans and guarantees to scale up renewable energy by independent power producers and public utilities. To this end, Mr. Speaker, the Public Utility Regulatory Commission is playing a pivotal role in supporting the establishment of the first private sector utility-scale solar PV system project near the MBIA. Mr. Speaker, the achievements of the past 3.5 years, combined with the initiatives planned for 2026, in this strategic priority area, demonstrate a clear, deliberate, and people-centered approach to Grenada's renewable energy transition. Mr. Speaker, things are happening in the renewable energy sector. Agriculture, lands, and forestry. Mr. Speaker, the agricultural, land, and forestry sector is the bedrock of our nation, anchoring food and nutrition security, sustaining rural livelihoods, and underpinning national resilience. Accordingly, Mr. Speaker, over the past several years, this administration has invested heavily in revitalizing the sector, modernizing its infrastructure, expanding its productive base, and strengthening the system that safeguards farmers and communities. Mr. Speaker, allow me to highlight some of the key areas of intervention undertaken in recent years, as well as the strategic priorities and investment proposed for the 2026 budget to further advance this vital sector. Following the passage of hurricane in July of 2024, we extended over $37 million in financial and support to our fishers, farmers, and others who depend on agriculture and fisheries to restore the livelihood, revive production, and promote the rapid recovery of the sector. Under Phase 8 of the Grenada-China Agricultural Cooperation, we constructed a modern tissue culture laboratory at the Maribo Propagation Station to produce disease-free planting material and scale propagation. Through the Climate Smart Agriculture and Rural Enterprises, SIEP, we provided training, extension services, and small grant to farmers, fisherfolk to support the adoption of climate-smart agriculture practices to make farming systems more resilient and sustainable. Mr. Speaker, to bolster the participation of youth and women in agriculture, we have expanded training, mentorship, and startup support programs designed to equip them with the technical skill, business knowledge, and resources needed to thrive in modern agribusiness. We strengthen the agricultural value chain by providing critical support to our agro-processors through financing, targeted training, technical assistance, and the provision of modern equipment and opportunities to scale up their businesses. Mr. Speaker, the opening of the agro-processing plant at La Colombe in the first quarter of next year will provide a significant boost to the sector. To revitalize the livestock subsector, we successfully implemented breed of pigs, sheep, and goat to bolster national breeding stock and set the stage for development of a locally hybrid animal towards greater self-sufficiency and sustainability in meat production. To address the devastating problem of predial larceny, we took several decisive action, including hiring of 45 new recruits as part of a dedicated task force and equipping them with specialized training while simultaneously investing in drones technology and modern tools to confront this persistent problem. Mr. Speaker, forestry and land conservation, we launched the spice replanting program as a well and watershed protection and soil stabilization initiatives to restore and expand our spice industry, safeguard critical watershed, and protect vulnerable slopes from erosion and degradation. Further, in the land use and farm access initiative, we regularized state lands and constructed farm access roads across Grenada to improve connectivity and reduce post-harvest losses. Mr. Speaker, while these initiatives have strengthened the foundation of the sector, the 2026 budget takes our vision even further, building on these gains to create a more resilient, innovative, and profitable agriculture sector. Our strategic priorities for 2026 includes accelerating replanting under the SPICE replanting program. An amount of $0.5 million is allocated for the expansion of this project next year. Continued restoration of high-value crop and expansion of climate-resilient varieties to strengthen food security. Investing in new irrigation system, farm access roads, and rural storage facilities to reduce losses and boost farm income. Scaling up of digital tools, greenhouse production, and modern techniques to increase efficiency and productivity. Deepening partnership with the private investors to advance agro-processing, packaging, and export market for local produce. Strengthening livestock development, including provision of 1.0 Strengthening livestock development includes the provision of $1 million EC in grant support to farmers to upgrade their pens and to support the SPICE breeding program. Mr. Speaker, at this juncture, allow me to provide an update on the reform of the Marketing National Importing Board. Mr. Speaker, our government acknowledges sincerely regrets the delay in advancing this important reform. The reform process encountered unforeseen challenges, particularly unavailability of MNIB's financial statement dating back as far as 2020, was significantly affecting our ability to complete critical work streams such as the evaluation of assets and the preparation of the investment prospectus. That said, Mr. Speaker, over the past year, significant progress has been achieved. The draft public-private partnership agreement, shareholders agreement, and prospectus are all at an advanced stage of completion, and a request for expression of interest was formally issued to attract a sustainable and suitable strategic partner. Engagement and negotiation with selected partners are expected to commence before the end of February, paving the way for full commencement of operations by the fourth quarter of 2026. Mr. Speaker, these interventions and forward-looking investments underscores our unwavering commitment to transforming agriculture and agribusiness into a vibrant, sustainable, and resilient pillar of economic growth, one that secures livelihoods, stabilizes rural communities, and ensures that Grenada continues to feed itself proudly and sustainable. An allocation of $40.5 million is made for advancing agriculture, food, and nutrition security. Mr. Speaker, things are happening in agriculture, food, and nutrition security. The blue economy. Mr. Speaker, the blue economy is Grenada's new frontier of sustainable growth, where our ocean and coastal resources are driving innovation, export, earning jobs, and food security for our people. Recognizing this immense potential, government established the Ministry of the Blue Economy and Marine Affairs, which began operation this year. So, though still in its infancy stage, its early achievement already speak to the transformative path ahead. Mr. Speaker, through the unleashing of the blue economy in the Caribbean, UBEC project, we restored critical fisheries infrastructure, including cold storage and ice-making facility at the Melfield Street Fish Market, and we established ship-to-shore communication network for our fishing fleet across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Following the devastation of Hurricane Beryl, the ministry delivered over $5 million in direct assistance to boat owners for rebuilding vessels, replacing engines, and acquiring safety gear. Through the Ministry of Climate Resilience and Blue Economy, we advanced the sargassum valorization project supported by the European Union through the Global Gateway Initiative, which the aim of turning a recurring environmental challenge into new economic opportunities. Our administration further completed the Coastal Fisheries Resource Project, CoastFish, improving management of key coastal species such as lobster and lamprey. Mr. Speaker, we have made meaningful progress towards the resumption of lamprey export under the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora sites. Our critical importance, Mr. Speaker, we are taking proactive steps to address the emerging United States seafood import ban restrictions. This includes the strengthening systems for traceability, monitoring, and enforcement to ensure Grenada seafood remains compliant, sustainable, and competitive in the international market. Only recently, we passed in this very House critical amendments to the Fisheries Act, and we have enacted the regulations to strengthen system for traceability, monitoring, and enforcement to ensure that Grenada seafood remains compliant, sustainable, and competitive in the international market. A clear demonstration of our commitment to protecting our vital fish export sector. Looking ahead to 2026, the Ministry will focus on deepening resilience and expanding opportunities in the marine sector. Key priorities include training of 500 fisher folks in safety at sea and sustainable fishing practice under the UBEC project, commencement of the Melville Street Port Development Project, including land reclamation, works to support modern port and processing facilities, establishment of a coastal zone management unit to guide sustainable use of our coastal areas, implementation of the sustainable technology for adaptation and resilience in the fisheries FISTA project and Road to Resilience R2R project. Both focus on ecosystem-based climate adaptation and expansion of the mariculture ventures in sea moss, bait, and shrimp farming to diversify coastal livelihoods. Mr. Speaker, our seas are not boundaries. They are bridges to the more resilient, inclusive, and prosperous Grenada. We have provided $16.4 million for interventions to advance the blue economy in 2026. Mr. Speaker, things are happening in the blue economy. Tourism and the creative economy and culture. Mr. Speaker, from the depths of our ocean to the vibrancy of our culture, the story of transformation continues. Just as the blue economy is unlocking new value for our resources, so too we are diversifying and expanding opportunities to tourism, the creative economy, and cultural sector that celebrates who we are, attract the world to our show, and to empower people to create, innovate, and thrive. Mr. Speaker, over the past 3.5 years, we have witnessed a remarkable resurgence of our tourism sector. Coming out of the pandemic, we face a daunting task, rebuilding elites, restoring visitors' confidence, and reinvigorating our tourism product. Today, we can proudly say Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatic are once again among the most sought-after destinations in the Caribbean. But, Mr. Speaker, our tourism strategy has not been about numbers only. It has been about broadening the base of benefits, ensuring that tourism growth is inclusive and that every community can share in its gains. We have developed new tourism sites and supported community-based tourism initiatives in rural areas, from support to the Laura Hub Garden and Sacred Springs in Providence and Davis, to the underwater sculptural park in Carriacou, creating jobs, preserving local tradition, and fostering a strong sense of identity. Mr. Speaker, beyond tourism, the creative economy and culture are steadily taking their rightful place as pillars of our national development. During the past several years, we have launched the National Cultural and Creative Industry Strategy, charting the roadmap for the development of music, film, fashion, and digital content production. Established the Grenada Office of Creative Affairs, tasked with supporting creative entrepreneurs through training, financing, and access to market. Provided increased grants and support for artists, cultural practitioners, and event organizers, revitalizing spicemas and community festivals across the island. Partnered with regional and international institutions to provide capacity building in copyright management, creative entrepreneurship, music production, and digital media production. Commence a 5-year initiative which started with the securing of and distribution of 240 steel pans and 7 drum sets across 7 parishes at a cost of $210,000 US dollars to assist in reviving the steel pan tradition in Grenada. The ministry is scheduled to roll out its Compans program in January 2026, having secured tutors for all parishes. Mr. Speaker, building on this foundation, our 2026 agenda for tourism and the creative economy and culture will focus on deepening transformation and expanding opportunities. In tourism, we will complete and operationalize 3 new tourism sites under our Sustainable Tourism Development Program, namely the Fort George Bathway/Liver Recreation Facility and the reimagined Grand Etang Shoreline Trail. Rollout of the National Tourism Development Plan 2026 to 2030 to guide investment, marketing, and human resource development. Strengthen digital tourism platform to enhance visitors' experience and improve data-driven decision-making. Expand air connectivity through continued negotiation with regional and international carriers. Support green and resilient tourism infrastructure, aligning our national climate resilience goals. In the creative economy and cultural sector, we will expand the creative economy to provide targeted financial support for creative entrepreneurs and startups. Launch the National Art Gallery on Church Street following the renovation of the Priory building. Expand training and certification programs in music, production, film, and design heritage and culture study in partnership with TAMCC and regional institutions. Integrate cultural heritage preservation into community development programs, ensuring our intangible heritage from big drums to saracas protected for future generations. Strengthen international marketing and export promotion of Grenada's creative products and services, opening new markets for our artists. An allocation of EC 53.1 million is made for further development in this crucial area. Mr. Speaker, things are happening in the tourism, culture, and creative space. The digital economy. Mr. Speaker, Grenada is no longer just a consumer of technology. We are becoming a creator and innovator, a nation boldly shaping its digital future. Since assuming office, this government has revolutionized our citizens and interact with government in the ICT space. For example, all taxes on domestic goods and transactions can now be filed and paid online. Passport applications are fully digitized. Pension certificate forms can be renewed online. And managing your business relationship for essential service and increasing is just a click away. We have expanded free wireless access across communities, schools, government office, tourism sites, and recreational parks. The Digital Workforce Initiative has empowered our citizens with internationally recognized cybersecurity training, and some graduates of the first cohorts have already secured jobs. Additionally, vulnerable households are now benefiting from the second interaction of the JUMP program, receiving device and internet access to bridge the digital divide as we ensure no one is left behind. In 2026, we will relaunch electronic embarkation and departure ED cards, transforming how we manage travel, security, and citizen service, making processes faster and smarter and more secure than ever before. Meanwhile, the Digital Transformation Agency has been fully established, driving Grenada towards a seamless digital economy and support innovations, opportunity, and global competitiveness. Mr. Speaker, things are happening in the digital economy. Infrastructure, development, and community renewal, public utilities, and transportation. Mr. Speaker, over the past 3.5 years, progress is undeniable in infrastructure, development, and community renewal in every parish across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. When we assumed office 3.5 years ago, we met an infrastructure network and community landscape burdened by decades of underinvestment, malpractices, and neglect. Our roads are deteriorating, our bridges weakened by age, our public buildings unsafe, and our transport system inefficient. The challenge was daunting, Mr. Speaker, but our determination was greater. In this context, Mr. Speaker, we have embarked on the most comprehensive road and bridges rehabilitation and maintenance and community renewal in recent memory. A program grounded in the principle of safety, resilience, and modernization. Allow me to highlight some of the major achievements in this area. The long overdue widening of the Granite Tongue Road. Through the GCRUs and the South St. George Water Expansion Project, the upgrading of water infrastructure to improve access to clean drinking water and build resilience in the water sector. The rehabilitation of key infrastructure on Carriacou and Petite Martinique, including in the post-burial period, such as the Bel Air Road. The completion of the Molinier Bridge reopened normal customary access along the Western Corridor. The upgrade of the True Blue Road. The completion of Laborie Road. The completion of the Moncoma Road. The rehabilitation of the Mongo Road. The widening of the Snellhall Bridge. The completion of the Bonnet Bridge. The construction of numerous secondary roads in towns and villages across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. The rehabilitation of sports facilities such as hard courts and playing fields. The lighting of several sporting facilities include the National Cricket Stadium to be completed before again. Progress Park, Telescope, and Springs to name a few. The cleanup of the Kirani James Boulevard and other sites, and the removal and disposal of hundreds of derelict vehicles from our streets under our Visible Transformation Project. The installation of solar lights in critical areas across our tri-island state to promote public safety and revive community spirit. The rehabilitation of numerous community centers across the island. In 2026, major projects will advance along key routes from Point Salin to Woodlands, the Cliff to Egmont, Tempe to Bolio and Mabuya, St. John along the critical bridge replacement at Marquis, Mades, Montfenju, and Montreach. For the first time, we are establishing a strategic preventive road maintenance program, ensuring that upkeep is proactive and deliberate and not reactive or crisis-driven. Mr. Speaker, a brief update of the coastal protection of the Sates Bay project. I'm referring to the breakwater in this case. With funding support from the Caribbean Development Bank, this project that is close to my heart because it's based in my constituency, I am pleased to report that significant progress. Bids are currently being reviewed and a contractor is expected to be awarded by January 2026. Construction works to begin shortly thereafter. Mr. Speaker, we have also turned a new page in the management of government buildings. For years, essential facilities, police stations, health stations, medical centers, school community centers, and administrative offices were allowed to fall in disrepair. Mr. Speaker, we have begun a new era of renewal and transformation, from the new police headquarters to Cites Medical Station. The repositioning of facilities, Consulting Limited, formerly known as the Financial Complex Limited, under the Ministry of Infrastructure, to ensure that maintenance is now guided by technical expertise and governed by occupational health and safety standards. This reform protects our workers, preserves public assets, guarantees value for money, and delivers better service to our citizens in safe and dignified spaces. Turning to transformation, Mr. Speaker, the government recognizes that mobility is the lifeblood of development. Through the Grenada Transport Commission, consultations are underway on a national transformation policy, a modern framework to guide reform in service reliability, safety, and efficiency. In 2026, we will implement a coordinated traffic management system and modernize the Road Traffic Act to address congestion and to improve flow, particularly in the southern corridor. But it's not only about moving vehicles, it's about transforming how Grenada moves. We are building a culture of order, innovation, and respect for our roads, where public transportation becomes a reliable, efficient, and people-centered. Government through Public Utilities Regulatory Commission will promote solar energy, expand self-generator program, so households and businesses can produce and sell electricity to the grid, and modernize laws and regulation for electricity and water to ensure clear oversight and strong consumer protection. Mr. Speaker, when we reflect on where we started, the broken roads, the crumbling bridges, the neglected public buildings, and the decaying community facilities that foster an environment for crime and antisocial behavior, and we look at where we are today with a clear roadmap for renewal and fundamental change, we can confidently say that things are happening. The budget of the Ministry of Infrastructure in 2026 is $187.2 million. Social protection, gender, and inclusion. Mr. Speaker, over the past 3.5 years, we have set out to lay a solid foundation to transform the way we care for our people, especially our less fortunate citizens and those living in our rural communities. Our single goal is achieving a stronger, fairer, and more inclusive Grenada. Mr. Speaker, to this end, we have developed a national social protection policy, which will, for the first time, provide a coherent framework to guide how we close poverty and social exclusion. The groundwork for data gathering to legal reviews is complete, with full policy implementation to commence in 2026. Mr. Speaker, building on our policy decision to increase the cash grant to our citizens with disability and our elderly over 65 years by $200 in 2024. We have modernized service delivery, launching the seed benefit card across all parishes, improving access for over 5,000 families. With support from the World Bank, the revised targeting tool will make assistance more equitable and efficient in 2026. Mr. Speaker, when you contrast this with the old system, where our elderly and disabled had to stand in long lines in scorching sun or the pouring rain to collect the benefit, ask yourself, who really cares about our elderly, poor and vulnerable, and about transforming their lives? Our government continues to expand protection for the most vulnerable, from initiating a halfway home for young persons turning 18 and having to leave institutions care, the renovation of the Father Mulligan home for boys in institutional care. We also took bold steps towards inclusion, hosting the first regional policy dialogue on disability and finalizing a national disability policy and action plan to be implemented in 2026. In the area of gender affairs, the development of a comprehensive gender-based violence strategy and action plan is underway, a decisive step to protect women and families across our nation. Mr. Speaker, we have not forgotten our rural communities. The Rural Development Unit is spearheading the design of a national rural development plan, which will be supported by projects such as the Basic Need Trust Fund, BNTF, with $5 million already approved by the CDP under Phase 11 to fund community-based sub-projects that reduce poverty and create jobs. The Climate Smart Agriculture and Rural Enterprise Project, more popularly known as CSAHEP, will terminate this year. That said, Mr. Speaker, CDB is actively considering funding for CSAHEP Phase 2, which will see construction of 8 farm roads. Added to that, a new poverty reduction and rural enterprise development initiative, RIPES, or Resilience Integration Program for Environmental Sustainability, will be launched to boost rural livelihoods and employment, from disability inclusion to rural renewal, from digital transformation to social protection, from reform. Grenada is building a society where no one is left behind. Mr. Speaker, things are happening. Legal affairs, labor and consumer affairs. Mr. Speaker, this government continues to deliver steady, boldly, and with purpose through the Ministry of Legal Affairs, Labor and Consumer Affairs. Over the past several years, we have strengthened justice, fairness, and protection for our people while modernizing the institutions that support them. In 2024, we implemented a long overdue adjustment to the national minimum wage, which the previous administration willfully and maliciously neglected for over 10 years. In clear disregard of the law, ensuring that workers at the lowest income level can now better meet their basic needs. We have preserved industrial peace and harmony, resolving nearly 75% of all labor disputes through dialogue and mediation in 2025. Moreover, over 200 workplace inspections ensured that the rights of workers were protected and our citizens access new opportunities at home and abroad through the Canadian Work Program, Seasonal Work Program. And for the first time in 2025, Grenada advanced a Decent Work Country Program, endorsed by the International Labour Organization, setting a new national benchmark for fair and inclusive labour policies. In the area of consumer affairs, we empowered our people through education. The Know Your Rights campaign reached classrooms across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martin, building a generation that understands its rights and responsibility as consumers. And as we tighten enforcement and inspections, we are prepared to launch the Consumer Affairs Tribunal, a major step towards ensuring that every Grenadian has fair and accessible redress when wrong in the marketplace. Mr. Speaker, we are not only protecting rights, we are transforming the systems that enshrine them. The ministry commends the first comprehensive revision of the laws of Grenada since 2010, advancing the digitization of intellectual property record, and secured cabinet approval for Grenada's accession to the Madrid Protocol, opening the door for our entrepreneurs to register and protect their trademarks in over 130 countries through one simple process. And, Mr. Speaker, Grenada has made history on the global stage when our own soccer star Vaughan was appointed the World Intellectual Property Organization as the first ever Caribbean IP Youth Ambassador, a powerful symbol of Grenada talent and innovation shining before the world. In 2026, we will deepen this progress, including advancing the Hall of Justice, finalizing the new labor code, operationalizing the Consumer Affairs Tribunal, implementing the Madrid Protocol, and advancing reforms that make justice, fairness, and opportunity, not just ideas, but live realities for every Grenadian. Added to that, Mr. Speaker, in keeping with the government's unwavering commitment to strengthen governance and safeguard the public trust, we have transferred the Office of the Integrity Commission to the Ministry of Legal Affairs and increased its allocation to EC 1.2 million, a 38.2% increase budget relative to prior years, ensuring the Commission is better resourced and empowered to execute its vital mandate. This is the work of transformation, protecting workers, empowering citizens, modernizing our laws, and elevating Grenadians' creativity to international recognition. An amount of $13.9 million have been budgeted for the Ministry of Legal Affairs, Labor and Consumer Affairs in 2026. Mr. Speaker, in legal affairs, labor and consumer affairs, things are happening. National security, home affairs, information and disaster management. Mr. Speaker, Grenada continues to stand as one of the safest and most resilient nations in the region. Through the Ministry of National Security, Home Affairs and Disaster Management, we have strengthened law enforcement, modernized our police facilities, and expand training and community partnership that reduce crime and enhance public confidence. Citizens are now better protected, our institutions better equipped to respond swiftly to both criminal activities and natural disasters. Mr. Speaker, at our various ports of entry, we are working to strengthen passenger processing and service delivery. Disaster preparedness will be enhanced as we continue to transform the National Disaster Management into a statutory entity to ensure that Grenadians are protected before, during, and after an emergency. A key milestone in 2026 is the acquisition of new Coast Guard vessel, a transformational step for marine security. The Cabinet has approved the decision and the procurement process has already commenced. The vessel construction will take between 18 and 24 months, with delivery expected in late 2027. When operational, this vessel will dramatically boost our capacity to safeguard Grenada waters, respond to emergency at sea, and protect our marine borders. In addition, our government information service and government printry have been strengthened through upgraded equipment and enhanced human resource capacity, expanding service delivery, and ensuring citizens have timely access to critical information. Mr. Speaker, this government is building a safer, smarter, and more resilient Grenada with an allocation of $170.4 million to enhance our national security agenda in 2026. Mr. Speaker, in national and public safety and disaster management, things are happening. Sports development. Mr. Speaker, over the past 3.5 years, our nation has witnessed a remarkable awakening in sports, a transformation that reaches from the grassroots to the global stage. What we are seeing today is not coincidence. It is a result of deliberate investment, bold vision, and unwavering belief in the potential of our people. The results speak for themselves. Grenadian athletes have excelled in major sporting arena, from netball, cross country, track and field, to swimming and volleyball and cricket. Our teams have brought home gold, silver, and bronze medals at regional and international competitions, including the North American, Central American, and the Caribbean NACAC Championship, the Woodman Island Schools Game, and the Junior Games in Trinidad and Tobago. Our national heroes, Anderson Peters, Lyndon Victor, Dr. Kirani James, Afi Fletcher, and Andre Fletcher, among others, continue to lift the Grenadian flag high with pride and distinctions. At the community level, we have strengthened the very roots of sport through our grassroots development program, integrating 70 trained coaches, many of whom have transitioned from the Imani program into schools and local clubs. Further, Mr. Speaker, we have continued to invest in world-class sporting infrastructure, upgrading the National Cricket Stadium, relaying the Mondo track at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium, improving the Tantin netball court, installing lights at Progress Park, and significantly commencing construction of Grenada's first aquatic center, a landmark that will redefine our capacity to produce swimming champions. Mr. Speaker, many of these initiatives are funded through the National Lottery Authority, and I record my sincere gratitude to the NLA for its pivotal role in advancing Grenada's engine. In 2025, the National Sports Council strengthened the foundation for a more decentralized, efficient, and nationally aligned sport ecosystem. Parish Sport Council offices were established across all parishes. Governance capacity improved with all directors earning the accredited director's certificate and staff training expanded. The NSC also adopted a purpose-driven role tied to the national priorities such as youth development. Key results included the successful FAME 2.0 holiday recreational program delivered with the ministry, with double participation and improved coordination with the Olympic Committee and Sports Association for major regional and international events. Mr. Speaker, in 2026, we will go even further as we deepen investment in sports, science, expand modern facilities across every parish, and strengthen partnership with schools, communities, and international bodies. The National Sports Council will drive this next phase by sharpening governance support committees, sports club, and boosting high performance and youth participation with the updated national sports policy and a standardized incentive program set for completion in the first half of 2026. Our aim is to make sports not only a source of national pride, but a true pillar of youth development, health, and economic opportunity. So, Mr. Speaker, things are happening in the wide and wonderful world of sports. Carriacou and Petimatic affairs. Mr. Speaker, few places have demonstrated the strength, resilience, and spirit of community as clearly as our brothers and sisters in Carriacou, Petimatic. In the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl. The devastating impact of this storm about a year and a half ago is still fresh in our minds. Yet from the rubble of that disaster, we have witnessed the best of our people and the effectiveness of government-coordinated recovery response. Mr. Speaker, through targeted incentives, effective collaboration with our development partners, and the will of our people, we have made significant progress, including restoration of essential services such as electricity, water, and telecommunication in a record time. Reconstruction of public buildings such as schools. Through grants, concessional financing, and tax relief, many residents have been able to rebuild their homes and restart economic activity. Our fisheries, agriculture, and tourism sector are once again showing strong signs of recovery, driven by local entrepreneurship and government support. Today, Carriacou and Petimatic stands not as victims of disaster, but as a symbol of resilience and renewal. Mr. Speaker, looking ahead to 2026, we are not yet finished. The task of full recovery and rehabilitation continues. In 2026, we will prioritize completion of the Build Back Better Housing program, acceleration of infrastructure development, including roads, port, sea defense system, especially the Windward Jetty. Continued investment in renewable energy, positioning Carriacou as a model for sustainable island living. Expansion of skills training and employment opportunities for young people to ensure inclusive growth. Strengthening healthcare and education services to support higher quality of life for all residents. Continuation of temporary social safety net assistance programs, including elder care support program and the assistance to students attending the TMRH Community College. Commitment to fair share and inclusive development. Mr. Speaker, let me reaffirm that Carriacou and Petimatic will continue to receive the fair share of national development. Our government remains committed to ensuring that every citizen whether on the mainland or the sister isles, benefit from equitable from the nation's growth and prosperity. The rebuilding of Carriacou and Petit-Martinique is not a side project. It's a central pillar of our national development agenda. As we look ahead, we do so with renewed confidence, and the best days for these islands and for Grenada as a whole are yet ahead. An allocation of $64.8 million, including some $20 million for Hurricane Beryl recovery, has been made for the advancement of Carriacou and Petit-Martinique in 2026. Mr. Speaker, our brothers and sisters in Carriacou and Petit-Martinique know that things are happening there too. Economic development and planning. Mr. Speaker, economic development and planning stands at the heart of our nation's transformation agenda. The Ministry of Economic Development and Planning and cooperatives continue to play a central role in shaping Grenada's growth path, driving policy coordination, project formulation, and investment planning across every sector of our economy. Over the past several years, we have strengthened institutional capacity for project cycle management and resource mobilization. Most recently, in collaboration with our development partners, including the United Nations system, the World Bank, and the European Union, we have advanced work on the resilience roadmap following the impact of Hurricane Beryl, identifying key areas for target investment and sustainable recovery. Mr. Speaker, as we look to 2026, our focus shifts to the pipeline of strategic public sector investment projects now under development, projects for which concept notes are being developed and resources will be mobilized following Cabinet's approval. This includes initiatives such as the Melville Street Fishing Port, a shrimp farm, the Southern St. George sewage and wastewater expansion, the Eastern Corridor water supply project, several renewable energy ventures including wave energy, floating solar, and agrivoltaics. Complementing these are projects to build resilient food systems, modernize our primary schools and training facilities, rehabilitate key feeder roads, and advance the transition of electric public and government fleets. Together, they represent a bold, forward-looking investment agenda and strengthen resilience, drives job creation, and expand opportunity across transformation. Mr. Speaker, this is the architecture of transformation planned purposefully and people-centered. Things are happening. Mobilization and implementation and transformation. Mr. Speaker, over the past 3.5 years, the government of Grenada, through the Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation, and MIT has redefined the way we deliver on the promises of development. MIT was established with a single but profound mandate to turn plans into progress and policies into results. From its inception, the ministry has been the engine room of government implementation and ensuring that projects move from approval to completion with efficiency, accountability, and impact. In 2023 and 2024, MIT accelerated the execution of dozens of community and national significant initiatives. This includes project finance under Grenada's partnership with the World Bank, such as the Grenada Resilience Improvement Project, the Unleashing of the Blue Economy UBEC project, the Data for Decision-Making project, the Caribbean Digital Transformation project, and the OECS Regional Health project. Each of these initiatives touches a vital area of national development agenda, building resilience, empowering people, digitizing government, and modernizing the economy. MIT's roles coordinate across ministries, solving bottlenecks and ensuring that projects are delivered within time, within budget, and to agreed specification has been pivotal in transforming communities into measurable progress. Under the Grenada Resilience Improvement Project, MIT is supporting the implementation of coastal protection works, bridge reconstruction, and flood mitigation measures, all of which will strengthen our national disaster preparedness and climate resilience. Through the Blue Economy, initiatives The ministry has been instrumental in advancing a more sustainable model of economic growth, one that harnesses Grenada's marine and coastal resources responsibly to boost food security, fish resilience, and coastal livelihood. In partnership with the Ministry of ICT, MIT has also driven implementation of the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project, promoted digital literacy, cybersecurity readiness, and e-governance reform, while improving the public sector capacity to deliver faster, smarter, and more citizen-centered services. Furthermore, to the Data for Decision-Making Project, MIT is supporting the development of a stronger national system, ensuring that policies are grounded in data and decisions are guided by evidence. Mr. Speaker, these are not isolated successes. They are the visible outcomes of a system that works, a system where coordination, performance tracking, and delivery monitoring are institutionalized with government operation. As we look ahead to 2026, the focus of MIT will be deepening institutional capacity and accelerating delivery. MIT will also continue to champion a culture of performance and accountability with the public service, ensuring that every project funded by taxpayers or our partner delivers full value and measurable outcomes. Mr. Speaker, transformation is not a slogan. It's a system of delivery, a discipline of execution, and a culture of results. It's the ability to move intentions to impact and from plans to people's life. So when we see policies being implemented, lives being improved, and institutions being strengthened, we must acknowledge things are happening. An allocation of $45.4 million has been made for the continuation of works of the Ministry of MIT in 2026. Climate resilience and environmental sustainability. Mr. Speaker, Grenada continues to lead with conviction on environmental stewardship and climate resilience. The recent lessons of Hurricane Beryl and Melissa are clear. Climate change is increasing the frequency and intensity of natural hazard, and we need a comprehensive approach to addressing these issues. In response, we are advancing natural-based and ecosystem-based solutions to stabilize coastlines, protect communities, and secure livelihoods. The update of our biodiversity strategy will include a sustainable financing framework to preserve the natural assets that drive our tourism and fisheries sector. Moreover, the revised National Adaptation Plan 2025 to 2030 and nationally determined contribution NDCs will chart Grenada's pathway towards zero carbon emission and enhanced adaptation, reaffirming our leadership in the regional climate action. Mr. Speaker, resilience is also about inclusion. We have completed the roof refurbishment and rainwater harvesting system for the programs for adults and mothers, and commence the expansion of the school for special education, featuring a climate resilience emergency shelter. Meanwhile, through our National Task Force on Sargassum valorization, Grenada transformation a coastal nuisance into a green industry, targeting 10 tons of processed sargassum by 2026 for use in agriculture and manufacturing. Through initiatives like CLOSE and the Plastic Trap and the World Bank supported Unleashing the Blue Economy project, we are modernizing waste management, expanding recycling, and establishing a new green point for organic waste collection and processing. Mr. Speaker, we are not just projects, or these are not just projects. They are investment in people, our future, and our planet. An allocation of $19.1 million has been made for the advancement of climate resilience, environment, and renewable energy in 2026. Mr. Speaker, things are happening in climate resilience and environment sustainability space. Foreign affairs, trade, and export development. Mr. Speaker, over the past 3.5 years, Grenada's foreign policy has been purposefully and principled strengthened our voice on the regional stage and position our nation as a credible partner for progress. Through active engagement in the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the CARICOM, the Community of Latin America, Caribbean States, ECLAC, the Association of Caribbean States, ACS, and the Commonwealth. We have deepened our regional and international partnership with foregoing new ties across Africa, Asia, and Latin America. In July of this year, we successfully hosted the African Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum Active Conference, which brought together regional and international partners to explore new export markets, promote Grenadian goods and services, and advance sustainable trade opportunities. Our participation in trade fairs and economic diplomacy missions has already begun opening doors for agro-processing and creative industries and professional services. A key enabler of this agenda has been the Grenada Bureau of Standards, which continues to play a central role in improving the quality and competitiveness of local projects. This year, the Bureau commissioned a state-of-the-art laboratory at Queen's Park, enhancing Grenada capacity for product testing, certification and compliance with international standards. This investment will support exports, protect consumers, and attract greater investment in manufacturing and agro-processing, ensuring that Made in Grenada stands for quality and reliability. Looking ahead to 2026, we'll deepen and expand our strategic alliance and undertake critical legal and administrative reforms to further boost investment and trading, including pursuing an advanced ruling policy under the WTO framework to modernize trade, facilitation, improve export competitiveness, and create a more predictable trading environment for our private sector. Mr. Speaker, in our region and international relations, things are happening. Development of Grenada's oil and gas potential. Mr. Speaker, over the past 3.5 years, Grenada has made significant strides in advancing the development of its hydrocarbon potential through Grenada's Hydrocarbon Technical Working Group. In 2025, the Technical Working Group successfully acquired, analyzed critical assessment data for companies that previously conducted surveys within our maritime space, providing a solid foundation for understanding Grenada's hydrocarbon potential. Regional collaboration has been strengthened through a data sharing agreement with the government of Trinidad and Tobago, enabling our experts to combine data sets and undertake a comprehensive analysis of our basin. At the same time, we are investing in building national capacity by recruiting young technical professionals, ensuring the development of local expertise in this strategically important sector. Stakeholders engagement workshop have fostered open dialogue, enabling informed assessment of opportunities and challenges in Grenada emerging hydrocarbon industry. Looking ahead to 2026, the Technical Working Group will focus on completing the technical and economic evaluation of Grenada's basin, updating the legal, regulatory, and fiscal framework, and establishing a dedicated regulatory body to oversee this sector. Work will also continue to conduct a comprehensive environmental and social impact assessment, advancing maritime boundary discussion with Venezuela, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and promoting Grenada's hydrocarbon potential to attract credible investors with the aim of finalizing exploration agreement within the next 12 months. Through these efforts, Grenada is laying the foundation for the responsible, transparent, and sustainable development of its hydrocarbon resources, creating a new opportunity for economic growth, employment, and national development. Contrast this approach, Mr. Speaker, with the previous hidden, shrouded in mystery and uncertainty approach of the previous administration. Mr. Speaker, in the hydrocarbon space, things are definitely happening. Building resilience to economic and social shock. Mr. Speaker, we have taken decisive steps to build resilience to economic and climate shocks. Since April of 2022, we have set aside 10% of receipts into the National Transformation Fund into a contingency fund at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank to fund disaster response. which now stands at $61.1 million. We have expanded coverage under the Caribbean Catastrophe Insurance Facility, the CRIF, to include Grand Lake and Nawassa, and are ensuring that our premiums are paid in full and on time. Accordingly, we are now covered for hurricanes, earthquakes, excess rainfall, the fisheries sector, and the public utilities. We have supported additional insurance coverage for cocoa and nutmeg farmers. We'll enter discussion with CRIF to ascertain whether additional coverage can be extended to tourism, and hospitality sectors. Mr. Speaker, discussions are at an advanced stage with the World Bank for contingency line of credit in the amount of $20 million to be drawn down in the event of an economic and climatic shock impacting our beloved nation, God forbid. I'll take a break at this point in time to basically clear my throat and make sure that my voice recovers, because standing on your feet for approximately 2 hours is not an easy feat, and as such, my voice sometimes gives way. So give me 5 minutes and I will continue my presentation.
Honourable members, the Honourable Minister of Finance has requested a 5-minute break. And this we will do now. We will go into a brief recess to give him a chance to recover his voice so he can continue his presentation.